Elliot, the day is finally here. It is the Nerd Super Bowl for DC Comics fans. How are you feeling?
Man, this is a once in a lifetime, a dream come true. It seems like DC is finally prepared. They have a presentation for us, and this is, like you said, the Super Bowl for us DC fans. I see you wearing your Kal-El Superman shirt. I'm wearing the Batman shirt. So it's the day, guys. It's today's the day.
It's an exciting day. So what we're planning on doing over the next 45 minutes or so is to take a look at the schedule and really talk through, I guess, what we are expecting and then what we're hoping for, because there is a lot of rumors going around, or there are a lot of rumors going around about what potentially could be surprise announcements and, a lot of fun to be had. But why don't we start off by watching the main trailer that they just dropped the other day?
Yeah.
Because I think it's a fun trailer. So we shall do that. And be right back.
Welcome to the Hall of Heroes.
On August 22nd comes an unprecedented global fan event.
Hello, everybody. It's all DC all the time. DC FanDome is unlike anything you've ever seen before. I'm actually standing inside a stage that Jim Lee himself drew. How incredibly cool is that?
That's crazy, right?
This worldwide mega event is for DC fans across the globe.
Ça va, DC FanDome?
Hola, mi gente.
Guten Tag, meine Freunde.
We've got exclusive footage, insider info, the latest DC news, and huge announcements.
You know what I'm talking about.
There was no way that I could come here and not bring a look at the movie.
Yes. There's so much cool content to look at.
That was a really special episode.
Designed just for you, the absolute DC fan.
That's amazing! Whoop, whoop.
There's something that I can show you.
Exclusive content!
Stuff that seems impossible ends up becoming possible.
I am beyond excited to be sharing this moment with you guys.
Awesome.
Hang on tight, because we are about to whisk you around the DC FanDome. You guys ready? Let's get this thing started.
DC FanDome, Hall of Heroes. All fans welcome. 24 hours only, August 22nd. And there's only one place you can experience it, at DCFandome.com.
All right. So how excited are you for all that?
It's here, man. I cannot believe the day is here. And again, we're going to get some big announcements today, guys. There's going to be some earth-shattering, internet-breaking cycle for the next 24 hours, 24 years. I don't know, man. This is it's exciting, man.
It's crazy. I mean, well, and let's talk a little bit about the kind of earth-shattering, internet-breaking news that hit the other day, which was the start of, I think, the DC weekend.
The little appetizer there, yeah.
Right, with Ben Affleck reprising his role as Batman in the Flash movie. So that's a pretty exciting piece of casting there.
Honestly, man, I wanted it as a fan because I felt like he didn't get the opportunity kind of, and I mean, technically speaking, not to rain in the parade, he's not still getting his own solo outing, but It's good to see him still, coming back. I feel like just from on a consensualized human level, he's kind of coming back to, this was a role that I wanted to kind of fulfill, wasn't able to do so with personal reasons, but now I'm back. I want to at least go out on a high note versus what we saw in Justice League. Was kind of, we all know how that played out. So I'm so excited for him to come back in the role, see what this role is. The Andy Muschietti quotes were very meticulous, very detailed too, and very telling in regards to, he just decided to take the role last week. His connection with Barry Allen. So it's exciting, man.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out, because of course we're expecting that movie is going to be focused on the multiverse and adapting the Flashpoint Paradox comic line, which is so popular. But we're also getting Michael Keaton in that film too. So we're going to have multiple Batmans. Does that mean that we will see a Robert Pattinson in there as well? Will that be a standalone? I think that's a lot of what is kind of at stake right now. A lot of questions about, how are these worlds playing together, given all of the changes that we've seen with casting, but also the standalone films like The Joker, which we've heard was a standalone film, but maybe it exists on another Earth,
I've been saying it for the longest, man. It baffled me that DC, unlike Marvel, they have all their players under one umbrella. We all know with Sony, with Spider-Man, X-Men, all that stuff's kind of, Namor and Hulk can't get a solo. So DC has something that Marvel hasn't, which is they have the rights to all their characters. So again, going back to that quote of Eddie Muschietti, he confirmed that everything we've seen exists in this multiverse. So that can be Watchmen, V for Vendetta, the TV shows, the future, the Joker stuff. So we might not get an appearance from them, but they are acknowledging that, guys, everything is in one, kind of under one umbrella, which is amazing.
Well, and it opens up for the potential for a lot of fun crossovers, fun, little tidbits here and there. Yep. Thinking about the Birds of Prey watch last week and talking about Joker. Could you imagine? Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn running into, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker in passing. It could happen.
Yeah, it could. It could quick. Again, the Easter eggs, acknowledgments of other movies is just, this is what, as a DC fan, this is what I love about DC. Other than the characters, obviously, and the great storylines, but it's just the possibilities are limitless when it comes to this universe. So yeah, it's very true. And I think that's something that's going to be pretty neat to see today play out with the number of panels that we see, planned for the day, but then also thinking about, the Snyder cut. And one of the clips that came out the other day seemed to show Barry Allen as the Flash running through the Time Force. And that could be kind of neat if they actually set that up in Snyder's cut of Justice League. But I'm not holding my breath. Who knows what that's going to look like. Yeah, I mean, it's so many. And again, I looked at the two trailers that we got. They are, if we go back to that 2016 trailer, a lot of those shots, like the Cyborg WAP, like those are shots that we've seen before. But yeah, the Barry Allen and the Speed Force and kind of what's to come with that. And again, they said, a lot of people say there's not a lot of continuity, but I mean, they established in BVS that Barry Allen can time travel as he tried to leave the message for Bruce. So the seeds were planted, maybe the stumbling kind of stumbled to get there, but this is kind of a accidental, happy accident, as they say.
Didn't totally explain it well in that Batman versus Superman, though, because I remember when it happened, I was like, who the hell was that? What happened?
Yep.
What is going on? So I'm going to bring up the schedule here. Let's walk through it a little bit and chat about what we're expecting, and then we'll get into kind of what we're looking forward to, because you and I have nerded out a lot about this recently, and I think we both are kind of expecting similar things. So let me see if I can bring this up a little bigger here. Come on.
And it was interesting too that we got the split of the 2 days, with today's being mostly the movies and some of the video game news, and 3 weeks from now we'll have some of that TV news. So
yeah, what do you think that was about?
Honestly, either it was a matter of they just didn't want any hiccups. They didn't want to overdo their servers with just content for a full 24-hour cycle. I honestly think, even though I wish they would have they did it up top, but I think this is the better kind of layout to give people to, continue that conversation, continue that buzz. But I think it's just a matter of just like, what, it might just be too much for our servers, and I don't want, the internet to crash and the website to crash. So
yeah, I imagine they'd have to be testing this out, for the past week or two up until today, because oh god, it does seem like, I don't know if you're getting this drift, but it seems like everything is pre-recorded.
Yes. Yep.
Which is great. I mean, I'm okay with that for this. It's going to be a well curated event.
I just hope they practice it more than not to, make bad comments about Comic-Con. But it was just like, you can tell that certain celebrities, celebrities have they're trained to know how to do interviews, but then you can tell some of these people are like Zoom calls are like foreign to them. So it was like, oh, wait, you said what? Huh? Like they're talking over each other and like the lag. So hopefully it's ironed out. They've edited it properly where it's like a natural conversation and not like I said, someone doing a Zoom call and it's like a bunch of like people chatting over each other. But yeah,
look, I get enough of that during working hours. Yeah, I'm okay with pre-recorded and make sure it hits well.
Exactly.
So look, right out the gate today at 1 p.m. Eastern, we're running with the Wonder Woman 1984 panel.
Yes.
That's pretty exciting. Gal Gadot was teasing that she has some surprises. What are you expecting from this one?
Well, number one, I'm so glad this kind of kicks off the event, because it's logistically speaking, it's the most finished, polished. It's ready to go. The film was ready to go a year ago, so be able to have your most prepared film. And I think out of all the panels, this will be the most like laid out plan, because again, it has everything, trailers, everything ready to go to come out in October, fingers crossed. But yeah, I'm expecting to see, even though I don't want to see, I think they're gonna show Cheetah her first, maybe not the full transformation, but like a quick glimpse of her and Wonder Woman fighting each other. I think we're going to get a little bit more of Maxwell, the Pedro Pascal as the villain, a little bit of his villain plans a little bit. And then obviously seeing that Steve Trevor and Diana chemistry and how they're going to come back together and hopefully win us over yet again from what they did in the first one.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun. First of all, this art is stunning. This is a beautiful.
Oh my gosh! I mean, me and you both know, Joe, with having Instagram pages and following these news. These posters nowadays are just so trash and so like quickly made. But whoever's been making these posters, again, everything about Wonder Woman to me just seems like it comes from a place of love, passion for this character. So they just take. That's why I'm just so excited for this film, because I know it's going to be a great movie.
Yeah, you know, what's interesting is one of the pieces of news, I guess it was really minor, but it was that Patty Jenkins said that Maxwell was modeled off of or inspired by Donald Trump. So that should be pretty interesting.
Very much so. Very much so.
So, you know, of course, there's it wouldn't be an event if they didn't have the FanDome store open, where I will be likely dropping $150 today, but it's okay. And then, hey, if you haven't used Postmates, unlock 30 days of unlimited free delivery.
Hey.
So we jump into the first of two game announcements. Mm-hmm. Are you a gamer at all, Elliot?
Back in the day, yes, but it's been a good 5 or 6 years since I've actually been a big gamer. I used to play the Arkham games. I was a big sports Madden 2K fan, playing, you know, call all the stuff that people play. But yeah, it's just unfortunately with work and time and commitment, it's kind of lost that. But hopefully, I don't know, maybe this next generation of gaming, I'll pick up the controllers again. We'll see.
Well, we already know later on in the schedule, we're getting a look at the Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, which I'm excited for. That's just a grab bag of characters and a great storyline, and that should be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they get away with that title with licensing, but hey, give it to us.
We are getting a Warner Brothers Games Montreal announcement at 1:25 p.m., which is rumored and I guess expected to be another edition in the Batman Arkham games. Montreal is where those games are made as it is, and there were some registration of websites and such that happened over the past couple of months that led people to believe that this is what would be happening.
And the Quarter Isles apparently is the storyline they're playing into, which is a very Illuminati type of situation with Batman and parents, grandfathers being the creation of. I mean, yeah, it's a very, like, a game like that might get me back in the game because I love those Arkham games.
I'm into it. I actually just bought my first Arkham game a couple weeks ago. And I haven't really played it much, but it's number one, it's a beautiful game. But I'm excited for it.
Did you pick up the first one, or which one did you get?
What did I get? Arkham Origins? What it was? I guess the most recent one, maybe.
Well, the most recent one was the Arkham Knight, which was the last of like that particular. Because so the Origins was like a prequel, and that was with Deathstroke and Hush and Black Mask. So and that one I remember the cutscenes for that were gorgeous. So yeah, that was a fun one.
I think I got Arkham Knight then. That sounds right.
Okay, yeah, and that's the one with the Red Hood storyline and some other interesting characters that come into the mix. Yeah.
Speaking of interesting, this is a different approach for storytelling. So I believe this launched yesterday, actually, the Sandman story on Audible. And it has such a cast of characters that we're not seeing much here, but they'll be talking about that today. Sandman being a comic that they've been trying to, I think, make into a series on Netflix for a while. There's been talk about movies, but I think they're really leaning towards an episodic, reproduction of this story.
Yeah.
Do you like Sandman?
I never really got into the lore of them. I kind of understand the concept to a certain extent, where it's kind of bigger than life, kind of almost fantasy, really heavily fantasy type of story. So like you say, I know this has been in production hell for whether it be TV, movies. Joseph Levitt-Gordon was attached to it. They have this Audible book, but I think it's one of those, from what I understand, it's like very hard to adapt, almost like a Watchmen like type of situation. So I think the TV route is where they want to go. So yeah, I'll probably check out that panel just to kind of familiarize myself with the character in the universe.
Yeah, it could be cool. I have I think I still have an Audible subscription somehow, and I got a notification yesterday that it was available. So yeah, I might check it out. It's I'm a podcast listener as well, so it might be nice to switch it up every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm really excited
So
to see what
here's
it's all about.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's a neat, I think, new medium. It's nice to see DC doing that. Here's where it gets interesting. We know that we are heading into the multiverse. That has been teased a little bit and actually confirmed by Muschietti.
Yep.
So here we are, a 101 starting at 2:15 p.m. where they're like, hey, let us explain this for you and lay this out because it can be confusing.
Yes. It's a very heady concept, and I love this panel. It's 30 minutes too, so really diving deep into it.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is, of course, you have Jim Lee, which I think is great. You have, Walter Hamada, who is in charge of Warner. I think he's the president. Warner Brothers Picture, president of DC-based film production, which is a hell of a LinkedIn title. But then Greg Berlanti from the TV series too. It's just a combo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess out of all the mediums they've had besides comics, obviously they have Jim Lee on the panel, but he was the only one that's tackled it on the small screen of any screen with the whole DC crossover with Infinite Earths and all. He's had 4 or 5 of them on his TV universe, so I think he's like maybe the test, the person that can talk to it and be like, hey, it works on TV. Now we're going to implement it on the big screen. So yeah,
he's like, here's how we broke it down for the CW.
Yes.
And then, of course, we get into the Flash panel. We talked a little bit about that already, but just seems pretty natural coming right after the Multiverse 101.
Yeah.
And then Beyond Batman, kind of interesting here, but of course, I'm drawn to the name here, Beyond Batman, given some of the some of the stuff that we've heard about a Batman Beyond movie being in the works.
That would be, I mean, it's a 5-minute segment. That would be pretty huge to announce that, like, hey, by the way, we're doing this, and then go next to the panel. But I mean, yeah, it does kind of open up. Again, I think it's no coincidence that the Multiverse, Flash, and Beyond Batman are all back to back to back. So there might be a little bit of telling there.
And with a 5-minute panel like that, you totally can see that they're laying the foundation, I guess, for what's coming later in the day.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm impressed with. It seems like it's pretty well thought out and intentional.
Yes. Which we haven't said that word in a while when it comes to DC. So definitely.
No, it's usually just throw shit on the wall and see what happens.
Exactly.
So I'm super excited about the Suicide Squad panel.
Me too, man. Me too.
I don't know. I think it's going to be great. It sounds like they're playing some games with it and stuff, but we're definitely going to get our first look at the film, which is, I think, what everyone is expecting or wanting to see, given that we've had a Suicide Squad film in the past that isn't the best received.
And something about that just the Suicide energy, even with David Ayer's crew, it seems like they all got along. They had fun in the roles, even though the film maybe didn't work out critically speaking, but it did, it was financial success. But it seems like just everything I've seen so far from this movie, whether it be James Gunn on Instagram, Margot Robbie's involvement of the birthday thing that they said, it seems like there's a lot of, going back to Wonder Woman, a lot of love and passion. And we know James Gunn, man, he was given the opportunity to take on any DC character, any DC lore mythology. He went to Suicide Squad. So there's something to be told there. He wants something to say. I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy rehash. No, I think he's going to really get off the rails, rated R, King Shark, just go crazy. I'm wondering who Idris Elba is going to play is a big thing around that. I'm having some weird suspicions, man, that he might be maybe a John Stewart character and being before, like him going on a mission, maybe Rick Flag is killed or injured and they have to bring in another general and it's John Stewart and creates the kind of the origins of him being a Green Lantern. I don't know, man. I'm just really excited to see who he's casted as.
That could be. And that's, you brought up Green Lantern. We're going to get to that later on because there's some talk around what we might see there. But that would be very interesting. There is a lot of secrecy around the actual storyline in this film. But correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, we have Viola Davis returning as Amanda Waller, I believe, which is great. I love Viola Davis.
100%.
However, I will say this is completely off the track. I loved How to Get Away with Murder when it first started. And then I fell off of it. Like, I don't know, season 4 or something. I just watched the last 5 minutes. It was a BuzzFeed post or something about great endings to shows. Oh man, that limped over the finish line.
Really? I could never get into. I heard great things about that and Scandal and all those shows.
Yeah, Scandal was great too. It was just, I mean, she made a name for herself in that Kerry Washington overacting. Everything was like, I wanted the eggs for breakfast, but she was great. All right, so then we have this ballsy females of color within the DC universe, BAWSE. I have no idea what to expect from this.
Yeah, is this the women diversity panel with like the woman of color of the DC universe, like the young woman that just got casted for the Batwoman role? And I'm surprised. I don't think I thought Journey Smollett was going to be on this panel, but I guess since they're not doing the Birds of Prey, she's not on it. But yeah, it seems like they're just talking about what it's like to be a woman working in the industry, an African American working in the industry, and being superheroes. So I think it's a pretty unique panel. So
BAWSE, badass woman, is what I'm expecting. SE of superhero, blah 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 blah. I don't know.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. I'm glad that they're actually being intentional about that as well.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Legacy of the Bat real quick. This is a quick 15-minute panel, but it looks like they're just gonna go over Batman's history.
Yeah, because as we all know, and I'm a diehard Batman fan, that's their crown jewel. He's that's why we have 7 Batmans going on right now. It's because he is the moneymaker right now. So yeah,
he certainly is. Chris Daughtry performance randomly thrown in there.
That's definitely where the bathroom break, lunch break comes into play. I will not be watching that panel.
The Joker put on a happy face here. So this is going to be kind of interesting. It says interviews with filmmakers and industry legends. So hey, who knows? Only 5 minutes, so it's a filler.
Another Batman theme. Panel.
Yep. True, very true. Jim Lee portfolio review. This will be exciting, I think. His art is just absolutely incredible.
Gorgeous, yeah.
So it's cool. They're balancing a little bit with the actual films and then back to the artwork. Surprise DC Comics panel.
20 minutes. 20 minutes, man. Yeah. What is it? What is it going to be? It's a comic panel. Is it going to tie into one of the movies that they're hitting towards in the future? Very interesting there, especially because it's coming right after Jim Lee's, panel itself. So yeah, very interesting.
20 minutes is a big announcement.
That is.
So, hey, I don't know. We'll get to some predictions in a little bit, but I don't know. I'm Batman. The voices behind the cowl. Cool, right? I think about what was it? Neighbors with Zac Efron and Seth Rogen.
Who their Batman was? Yeah. We all do him, and that's again goes to the strength of the character. He goes across all genres and all different mediums. So yeah,
that's very true. Then we have this little project that I don't know much about.
A little independent short film, student film. Yeah.
Kind of is like an independent film in a way.
Yeah, pretty much.
We have the Snyder Cut of Justice League. So we're definitely getting a trailer. We'll get confirmation on whether it is a film or a series on HBO Max. I think I tend to think they're leaning towards the latter.
Series
just because,
week.
Yeah, because of the amount of footage that they have. I mean, it's over 400 minutes or something he had said. And then he did say during the Justice Con panel that he was on, that he popped up on, that we'll get confirmation of what it is. But if it is a series, you can just watch them back to back like a movie. And I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting that you said
that. Right. Yeah, it'll be a lot of stuff I'm expecting from this. Again, from the trailer to again, like you said, confirmation on film or TV type of layout. So this is a big one. This is a big one for sure.
I'm excited. There, some of the things that I'm looking forward to in this, though, we know that there were a lot of characters that were filmed when Snyder was in charge, and that were built into the story a little bit, like more, a Green Lantern, and some other characters that the Atom, I believe, is also a part of the story. I'm looking forward to seeing them on screen.
Yeah.
What's going to be interesting is we'll get to Green Lantern again later, but how will that play with everything else? There's also the rumors like that he's going to pop Ryan Reynolds in there, but that's not happening. There's no reshoots happening, so
it's a lot of this is the besides obviously the new stuff. This is the one of the more interesting ones that I'm excited. 25 minutes to see what all comes of that, and seeing probably Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot and all those people come up will be really fun.
I will cry. I'm going to cry. I promise you that. Flash TV panel. We've talked about TV shows for DC a lot. They're so hard to follow up with now.
It's so hard to digest, man. I'm gonna probably just see what their panel is all about. Some people are speculating that it might be an announcement that this is their final season potentially, because I think it's coming on the 7th year or maybe even 8th year. So we'll see what comes of Grant Gustin's TV show there.
We have the Black Adam panel. We have been waiting for this for years with The Rock attached to it.
Yes.
But, it says a few surprises. And, of course, Dwayne Johnson's been teasing the hell out of this the past week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Man, besides The Flash, this film, in regards to just importance to the DC universe, as The Rock says in the promo, the anarchy of the DC universe is going to change on its head. I think this is... we were just talking about Ryan Reynolds. The way The Rock has been, this has been his baby, just like Deadpool was to Ryan Reynolds. He's been campaigning and championing this character for like 10 plus years now. So there's definitely some connection he has to this character, a story he wants to tell. We're going to see the JSA for the first time. I'm a little skeptical about Nick, whatever that guy's name is. Noah Centineo. Yeah, he's like the Netflix king right now. Again, I'll give everyone a chance. That's like my one hesitation. Also, the director of the film, I know he's working with The Rock with the Jungle Book and all that, but those are some scary things. But The Rock, man, he's a hero of mine. He's a movie star. So this is the biggest. Like, just thinking about the hiring of movie stars and the casting. This is the biggest star that's been cast as a superhero since the superhero genre. Like, he is already established mega star, and now he's playing a superhero. So this is huge.
I'm with you. I totally agree with that. It's kind of crazy to think that he hasn't made his way into a Marvel movie or a DC movie yet, being the highest paid actor. Even this year, he was the highest paid actor, and he hasn't had a film come out.
Exactly.
So it's absolutely wild to me.
Yeah.
So that will be a great one. We have the CNN heroes, real life heroes in the age of coronavirus. Nice touch. Looking forward to that. And then the Titans TV panel. Do you watch Titans?
No, I never, even a diehard DC fan. I was never sold on the DC app. It didn't appeal to me. Luckily, I was able to see Doom Patrol recently because they, transfer all that stuff to DC or HBO Max, and I'm going to do that with Harley Quinn as well. And rumblings are that this is going to be the same thing with the DC app is going to be non-existent in the next year or so. So hopefully I've heard some mixed things about it, this particular show, but I'm going to check it out once it does make its transfer over to HBO Max. It's
pretty good. I mean, I would say it's a step up from CW films or CW shows, I think. But I haven't gotten into the second season. I'll say that the first season takes some time to really, grasp and get into.
Yeah, catches
but from what I've heard, it's really ended up being, a pretty solid show.
That's good to hear.
So yeah, a lot of that stuff is moving to, or all of their content that's not comic related, not actual comic books. It sounds like we'll be moving to the HBO Max streaming service, and then
Smart.
the DC Universe or whatever that app is called is going to be strictly for comics.
It's a smart move.
We're getting an Aquaman panel, but only 10 minutes.
Which makes sense because the film is slated for 2022 or 2023. So we're quite 2022, I believe. We're still 2 years away from it. So I would assume maybe some art, some conceptual art for the characters, maybe a little bit more on a little bit hint at the story as Arthur as the king and Black Manta wants his revenge for the death of his father. I don't think they'll say anything about obviously Amber Heard, just like the whole Ezra Miller situation. I don't think they'll keep that stuff off the table and just focus on the positive stuff. So I don't know what to expect there as far as casting, but I just expect, because art pieces and kind of a little bit of idea where they want to take the story.
First of all, the logo here on the website is beautiful. It's a nice step up from what they've done in the past with the logo.
Yeah.
But the other interesting piece here is King Orm himself, Patrick Wilson, being a part of the panel, which I think is kind of cool. I loved him in that role, and King Orm.
I love him in everything. He's such a great underrated actor.
King Orm continues to have an impact in all of the Aquaman stories forever. So I'm excited to see kind of where they take that character moving forward. But you're exactly right. We're going to see more Black Manta, and who knows where the story is going to head.
And it's so, again, going back to just goes to show you when you cast something. So Yahya Abdul-Mateen II during the first Aquaman wasn't as big as he is now, right? Yeah. He's had in Candyman, he killed it in Watchmen, and now when they come back for the second time, just he has his own audience now that he didn't have in the first one. So the whole, it's just again, the pieces are starting to come together for the DC universe.
You and I have talked about this before. I think that when it comes to casting, DC has done a really solid job.
Spot on.
Some missteps maybe here and there. Like I know Lex Luthor is always a conversation piece when you're talking about Jesse Eisenberg, but overall, I mean, Snyder himself, the casting was phenomenal.
Home runs. Yeah.
Ask Harley Quinn we got coming up. This will be pretty entertaining. This is one you cannot effing miss. I haven't watched any of that yet.
Same here. Yeah, it's on my list though, because like I said, I know they transferred it over to HBO Max the first 2 seasons, so it's definitely something I want to check out because I've heard it is very, very rated R, but a lot of fun too. So I'm definitely excited for it.
We're going to get a Wonder Woman 80th celebration, which I think is exciting. I mean, Wonder Woman is just an incredible character, and Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman in so many ways.
100%. And another 5-minute panel, but I expect Linda to make an appearance and kind of, talk about her time in the role and passing that baton over to Gal Gadot.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Tomorrow's Superheroes with Jim Lee again, which is kind of interesting. I'm wondering what this is going to look like. It sounds like it's more connected to a charitable event. But they're looking at discussing the contributions of Asian artists, which I think, again, is a really cool step into the diversity realm of exposing those who are behind the scenes that never really get the credit.
Yeah, man, just looking over this list so far, whether it be this panel, the Black women in the DC universe, the CNN showing, respect to the heroes with coronavirus. DC, man, applaud to them to having their finger on the pulse and not forcing it. They're just making it organic, appreciating the art that comes from all diversity. So really, really kudos to them, man.
I agree with you. We get the Shazam panel, nice 10-minute panel. So this sounds like it's going to be more just kind of, what's coming down the road because this hasn't even hit production yet.
Right.
Everything from panels to the other Zach's cut.
Do you follow David F. Sandberg?
I don't know if. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
He's a really good follow on Instagram and Twitter. He pokes fun of himself. He pokes fun of Shazam. I don't know if you saw the fake trailer that they made and the fake reviews that came out from the film that's not even out yet. He's one of those directors that are just like a Taika Waititi type, not quite Taika Waititi type of comment, but he pokes fun of his own art and himself. So I love David F. Sandberg. And again, another James Wan protege. James Wan, Patrick Wilson. I mean, the guy has a hack or a natch at picking out good talent.
It's true. It's very true. So, I'm just going to jump through these two real quick. Wonder Woman 1984 is just a quick. It sounds like a game that they're playing. The cast is playing, which is cool. Here's that other video game we had talked about, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Again, interested to see that. It sounds like it's probably pretty further along than the other announcement, I would assume.
I would imagine it'll probably come out next year, maybe.
Yeah. And then we get the Batman panel.
This is the one. Yeah, man. This is great, man. This is gonna be the panel that's really gonna. We start off with Wonder Woman, we end with Batman. Robert Pattinson, him talking about the role, get a little bit of footage, which would be great, and seeing the whole cast: Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright and Colin Farrell and Zoe Kravitz. The cast is incredible. Andy Serkis. So this is a big one. And this is 30 minutes, which gets me even more excited. They're really going to dive into the psyche maybe of where they're going with the character and the minds of the character. And also maybe some announcements for the HBO Max show that they've alluded to a couple weeks ago with Zoe Kravitz and Jim Gordon's show. So this is a big one.
HBO Max is going to be, I think, the a running theme during this whole panel or this whole day. There's been so many rumors, so let's get into that a little bit. Like talking about what's not on the schedule that we expect to hear more about, but then also some hopeful things that we really are hoping to see. And speaking of HBO Max, it's long been rumored that there's a Green Lantern show coming with potentially J.J. Abrams developing that, or Greg Berlanti. I think there was a question mark there with who was going to take that. Do you think we're going to get news about Green Lantern today?
Yeah, I think we will. Again, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought Greg Berlanti was confirmed that he is the showrunner, which made me nervous about it, but we'll see. I think the first few seasons of The Flash, Arrow, his fingerprints he was more involved in those shows, but now, 30 seasons later, I don't think he's as involved, and that's why maybe it's not as consistent as it was at the beginning. But I believe he is the show. I think they have confirmed that they will be doing a Green Lantern core show with him being the showrunner. So I think, again, synergy. Again, taking maybe a page out of Marvel, maybe beating into the punch, but I think the next 5 to 10 years of the superhero genre in regards to staying relevant and staying exciting is the TV world and the movie world crossing over for the first time ever. So I think DC will be doing that moving forward, as we just talked about with Batman series, Green Lantern. We're going to see these characters on a small screen, just like Marvel, a Miss Marvel show, a Moon Knight, and some of those characters, they're going to be introduced on the small screen, and then we're going to see them translate to the big screen. So one of the biggest complaints that we get about some of these newer characters, like, it was cool. We saw them in the movie for 10 to 15 minutes, and I guess I'm excited for their movie, but now they have 10 episodes to explore the characters. So when we get to the movie, we don't just get that quick, what's their background, what's their origin, go watch the TV show. So I think that's, smart on HBO Max to have that platform to tell these stories, to really dive into these universes, the world building that we sometimes lack in these superhero movies. So it's all exciting, man.
Yeah, I'm with you there. There was a Green Lantern Corps movie that was in the works years ago, and I think they had announced it originally for 2020 or 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe so.
But here we are. That was pre Batman versus Superman and Justice League.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that. I think we're going to get some more. I do believe that Ryan Reynolds will pop in at some point during the day.
Somehow, yeah.
you know how he is.
Yeah.
Which I think will be cool. But yeah, so I'm excited about Green Lantern. The one person that, speaking of, that isn't mentioned in here, or the properties that he's working on aren't mentioned, is J.J. Abrams. And he did sign a big deal with Warner Brothers to tackle a lot of I think Justice League Dark is one of them, and some other things for HBO Max. So I wonder if we'll get any news of where things are going with him today.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the things that kind of sucked in the last week is we saw that they did remove a surprise movie panel, which I think would have been that JJ, or maybe like the shirt you're wearing. One thing that is absent from this whole day is no word of Superman, which is kind of really frustrating. That DC, again, I love Batman, I love Wonder Woman. That seems like that's their main focus, and they forgetting about their most hopeful superhero, one of the most iconic superheroes, in Superman. So hopefully they're going to give us a surprise panel. I don't think that's a smart idea, just to like, hey, we're just going to, I think they should have kept it on this, but who knows? Maybe it's all part of their strategy to really kind of build momentum and surprise us with something. Yeah. But it is kind of unfortunate that we don't see any Superman news or anything about Superman at all in this panel. Like, even like they have the acknowledgement of the history of Batman, the history of Wonder Woman, but no word of Superman. It's kind of baffling that they're ignoring Superman.
Which makes me think that it is intentional for some reason. I mean, you think about the conversation around Henry Cavill for the past few years.
Yeah.
Is he done? Is he not? There were rumors that he was hanging it up, and then he was kind of trolling everyone with like, no, he's not. Then there's rumors that he signed a new deal to appear in certain films in, a supporting role. Yeah. But it's also just been pretty quiet. And, when you're looking at the Trinity here and one absent member of that, kind of bleeding over to what I think some of the surprises will be, I'm hopeful that there's going to be a Man of Steel announcement today. Am I holding my breath for it? I don't know. I'm hopeful that we're going to learn more about that. I think it would be odd if Henry Cavill didn't pop in at some point.
Right. I expect him at least for the bare minimum appearance on the Zack Snyder's panel, the Justice League. And also we've seen a bunch of surprises. Maybe Shazam, maybe Black Adam. I don't know, because that's going to be taking place like centuries from now. But maybe they can tie him into the mix. Everyone remembers that picture of him and The Rock, sipping some alcohol a couple years ago. So maybe again, like you just said, the allusion to him popping up in films. Maybe that's the surprise guest, Henry Cavill making an appearance on Shazam or whatever the case may be.
Well, could you imagine if they finally delivered on that Shazam cameo?
That would be crazy. Because I mean, the president has been said Shazam even not only in the comics but in this universe, he looks up to Superman. So that would just make, you know, just from a story standpoint, would make sense that he would make an appearance in that film.
Yeah, it would be very cool.
Yeah.
What other things are you hopeful to get news on today? Anything lingering?
Besides the Man of Steel, we talked about Green Lantern. I think that the biggest thing now is some casting too. You know, whether it be the Flash, who's playing Reverse Flash, who's playing maybe Gorilla's Grodd, maybe, you know, maybe some other casting announcements. Again, getting the confirmation of all the characters in the Suicide Squad. Who's Idris Elba? Who's John Cena? Who's, you know, Pete Davidson playing? So I think we're going to get a lot more confirmation on rounding out the cast. Also, going back to Black Adam, who's Hawk Girl, who's Hawkman. I believe Alexander Skarsgård was mentioned to play Hawkman. So I think we're going to get more casting news, potentially maybe some directing news for the future. So I think it's going to just be rounding out some of the films that have already been announced, but then rounding out the cast and the crew and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I'm holding out. I have this weird, oh God, I guess it's a pipe dream. But you know, when I sit and I think about the Snyder Cut and I think where they're going with that, if they do move it to an episodic series that hits on HBO Max, and then they're going to explore the multiverse, I think there is room for the conclusion to what he was building up to. You know, we know that we're going to see Darkseid in here.
Yeah.
But how is that going to play out? So like part of me is thinking or hopeful that they allow the Snyderverse to play out on HBO Max. I don't know that would happen, but
yeah,
you know, they're investing a lot of money in bringing the Snyder Cut forward. Obviously all of the characters are the same actors are back as the characters, with the recent announcement of Ben Affleck coming back for The Flash, but then also, you know, Henry Cavill is still lingering out there.
Right.
I don't know. I just think I just want that so bad.
I mean, I couldn't even imagine being a Zack Snyder fan, him doing a TV show and it being, you know, we all know his Snyder cuts, his long extended cuts. Like, what kind of, are we talking about 30 episode seasons, 2-hour episodes? Like, I that would be, I would hate to be, no disrespect to Zack Snyder, I would hate to be a producer and the budget that he probably goes over and all the extra footage and stuff they use for a TV show. I wouldn't even imagine what that would look like. But you mentioned something about Darkseid. Another thing I would hope to get some more news about is Ava DuVernay. She's supposed to be doing the new guy. I haven't heard anything about that. So maybe there's some opportunity to talk about that film and where it's at, and maybe some casting on that. You know, who's playing, Grady Goodness, and who's playing some of these other crazy characters. And, Marvel's beating them to the punch with that whole kind of space intergalactic with the Eternal. So I would hope to get some more about that, because I love Ava DuVernay, minus her last film with the big Disney film, which didn't play out well with that. But I hope we get some news about that.
Yeah, I completely forgot about New Gods. That's one that I'm really looking forward to, but it's so funny that we haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, listen, we have a packed day. We're about 15 minutes out from the start of it all.
Yep.
So I do want to be cognizant of that, allow us to get more coffee or whatever we need to do before.
Get our setups all ready, get our tissues ready for tears, refreshments ready. It's going to be a great day, guys.
It's going to be a day. So, hey, here's what we're going to do. We'll definitely see each other back here in eight-ish hours for the wrap up after the panel for Batman. The Batman, if you will. And possibly throughout the day, depending on how big the news is and how emotional we are, we may pop onto Instagram Live and just act what we just heard
there. Yeah. I'm excited, man.
You know where to find me.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, guys, like Joe said, make sure you're following us on our social media accounts, because we may be doing some Instagram lives, like he just said, talking about some of the news that we get, announcements and things of that nature. So definitely follow us there, and then make sure to tune in tonight to see our kind of our recap of some exciting news, some big stuff that we're getting.
I will be tweeting all day about this.
Yes.
So head over to Twitter and we're gonna have some fun today.
Today's a fun day. Yep.
A fun day. All right, bud. I'll see you later on. Enjoy it.
You as well.